It was April 2018. I had just come back home for Easter break to my home country, Montenegro, and I'm in its capital, my hometown, Podgorica. For the past few months, I had taken up film in my art classes at school. I bought a new camera, and I was really excited to learn how to use it. I started filming my surroundings, the things I missed away being in England. These were leftovers of communism, square, stern buildings, and my dad. Strangely, I was also drawn to film the plastic bags that the wind had blown over the trees. Perhaps it was because I had seen the 1999 DreamWorks blockbuster, American Beauty, and the scene where the empty bag is flying against a brick wall. This is who I was, and these were the objects of my artistic interest. This was so until I saw this billboard and all that follows. These are the presidential elections in Montenegro, and it is the biggest sports arena in my country.
Teraz na ovoj pobjedničkoj konvenciji od našeg dragog domaćina, gradonačelnika Slavonjuba Miga Stjepovića.
The people in garish red and white are watching in fear, awe, and admiration the one and the only ruler of the Balkan state, Milo Djukanovic. The elections in my country are a particular type of circus we're used to having on every other year. The circus includes bright billboards, propaganda, new roads and construction projects, promises, and it always has the same outcome. These elections were no different. So then, why was I stunned by the things I had seen so many times before? For the first time in my life, I passionately wondered, what is the origin of such a frozen state? How do the autocratic leaders succeed in sustaining their power in my country for so long? It is a European nation in extreme economic deficit, with 30% of the population on the verge of poverty. Why do the people vote for the same man and his party again and again? These are the origins that I found.
In one way, this is also an outcome of the curse of small numbers. On the other hand, we are living in a society of undeveloped political culture.
Montenegro has never changed its government through free elections. In fact, historically, regime change has only been achieved through revolutions or coups.
We're still waiting for some kind of democratic changes. There are the few factors why it's like that. First of all, we don't have so big democratic transition and tradition, and also don't have the let's say have a lack of still lack of political culture and understanding of functional democratic system.
Over a century ago, King Nicola independently ruled over the country for 58 years, until he was overthrown because of a dispute over the sovereign power by the acts of Karađorđević dynasty from Serbia. From that point on until the beginning of World War II, Montenegro, alongside Bosnia, Croatia, Macedonia, Serbia and Slovenia, is a part of the newly found Kingdom of Yugoslavia, governed by the Serbian king. In 1945, the revolutionary wave brought over a new ruler, General Tito. He and his fellow communists overthrew the king. Everyone I know says Tito was different from many of the other communist leaders.
Prolili za bratstvo i jedinstvo naših naroda. I nećemo nikome dozvoliti da nam dira ili da nam ruje iznutra, da se ruši to bratstvo i jedinstvo.
And usually, for a communist regime, Yugoslavia's borders were open. His policy allowed people to travel. The Yugoslav watched even the Western films, read Western literature, and listened to Western music, while they also created their own unique art.
Lutamo kroz noć, mi kao stranci, lutamo kroz noć, dva strana lica.
Despite, however, these apparent freedoms, one thing that Yugoslavia kept in common with other communist countries was the one-party system, the lack of a market economy, and freedom of speech. The end of the communist Yugoslavia began with Tito's death in 1980. The country began to disintegrate due to the rising ethnic conflicts that finally resulted in a bitter civil war and attempted genocide by the early 90s, which tore Yugoslavia apart and led to the separation of the Balkan states. In 1989, on the eve of a civil war, a young and aspiring member of the Communist Party, the 27 years old Milo Djukanovic, participated in an inter-party coup in Montenegro, the so-called anti-bureaucratic revolution. He then joined Slobodan Milošević, the strongman of Serbia, whose political stardom had begun to rise. In Yugoslavia, Milošević's nationalistic propaganda stirred the political, religious, and ethnic disputes, pitching Serbia and her tiny sister Montenegro in a civil war against Slovenia, Croatia, and Bosnia. The bloodshed ended the 70 years long Yugoslavian era.
Over 5 days, 8,000 unarmed Bosnian Muslim men and boys were massacred by the Bosnian Serb military forces, while thousands of women...
Montenegro was one of the 7 countries which emerged from the ruins of Yugoslavia, and its new leader, Djukanovic, became Milošević's puppet. He and his Democratic Party of Socialists convinced the people that Montenegro's destiny was to follow Milošević's policy of war. Institutions were captured, judiciary controlled, and following Milošević's lead, Djukanovic also used the media as one of his main tools for brainwashing the citizens of Montenegro. Under the influence of this politics, they fought in 3 wars directed by the now convicted war criminal Slobodan Milošević.